Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Illinois students, sponsored by the Illinois Association for College Admissions Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at IACAC.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, IACAC.org. I would now like to turn it over to our presenter.
My name is Brianna Farrell, and I am a first-year admission counselor with Mount Mary University. While I get my screen all set up and ready, I will turn it over to our current student who's also joining us for this evening.
Hi, my name is Olivia. I'm a student ambassador here at Mount Mary. I am a senior. I'm a double major in international studies and Spanish. I have a minor in history and a certificate in peace building.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us, Olivia.
Oh, my pleasure.
So we are just going to go over a couple of the highlights of Mount Mary, and Olivia will be here to help give us a student's perspective of what it's like to attend Mount Mary. So we'll be asking her questions throughout, and certainly feel free to throw any questions in the Q&A, and we'll try our best to address them either during the presentation or at the end. So here's my contact information, my email. I'll also have this available at the end of the presentation as well. And all of Olivia's accolades, majors, minors, certificates, all that good stuff. So this evening, we are going to be covering Mount Mary's community. We're also going to talk a little bit more about academics and hands-on experiences and what the classroom is like. In addition, we'll talk about the value of Mount Mary, so financial aid and scholarships, one of our favorite things to talk about. We'll also discuss the admission process and some other visit opportunities for you. So first thing about Mount Mary, a couple of unique highlights is that we are an all-women's university. We currently have about 726 undergraduate women enrolled at Mount Mary, and we also offer graduate programs and have a little over 500 men and women enrolled in those programs. So while we are a co-ed campus at the undergraduate level, it is all women, so it creates a really unique campus community and sisterhood on campus that you're not going to get at a lot of other universities. In addition, our faculty and staff are just extremely dedicated to their students. Part of Mount Mary's mission and vision is to not only expand the minds of the academic, but also of the individual, and really be there to help develop the whole individual, which is something that's so unique at Mount Mary, is just how dedicated and driven all faculty and staff are to Mount Mary's mission and vision. So Olivia, to get us started, why did you choose Mount Mary?
I found out about Mount Mary actually through my sister. So she lives in Milwaukee. I'm not from the area. And so her son had a fundraiser here. And so I came down, and that was my first introduction to Mount Mary. And I fell in love with the campus. I'm from a very small town, so I know that I needed a small university, and it just clicked. I could see myself fitting in here. I could see myself in the classroom and having fun, like exploring the area. So I just knew it was for me based on that small community.
Great, thank you. Looks like my presentation froze a little. There we go. So I mentioned before that we're also an all-women's university, which there are very few all-women's universities left in the United States. So what is it like attending an all-women's university?
I absolutely love it. I never have to be timid to share my opinion. I know that other people know exactly where I'm coming from. They understand me 100%. And it's just nice to be like free in the classroom. I've had classes with co-ed students, which is fine at the college level, but there's definitely something that I was like, there's something missing here. Like I miss that automatic connection that you get, that automatic bond when you walk in the room and you just know that these people are with you 100%.
Awesome. And do you feel like you're missing out on anything from attending an all-women's university?
Absolutely not. I think it's actually improved my education. Males are great. We have wonderful male professors, but I just feel like when it's just women, we are able to collaborate so much better. We're able to just share more freely.
Awesome. I think that's something that a lot of students get a little bit nervous about when hearing about Mount Mary, is that it's an all-women's university. So it's great to hear from a current student's perspective that, you feel like it's improved your education overall.
Absolutely.
So a little bit more about Mount Mary and our location. We are located in the city of Milwaukee in Wisconsin, but we are right on the border of a suburb called Wauwatosa. So there is a map on the right-hand side of the screen to kind of show you where Mount Mary is in location to the rest of Milwaukee. We are in a pretty ideal neighborhood where we are a little bit more removed from downtown and kind of the hustle and bustle of like the largest city in the state. But we're also fairly close to downtown, about a 15 to 20 minute drive to, go to downtown and have access to all of the great amenities that it has to afford. On the left-hand side of the screen is also a map of campus. So we are located on quite a few acres of green space, and a lot of our buildings are centrally located on campus. So our students do have quite a big area to have more of a residential feel, I would say, than a city feel on campus. In addition, Mount Mary's neighborhood also has the benefits of being, again, close to a city, but also close to a suburb where we have a lot of access to fresh food and groceries, as well as shopping. We are right behind a large mall in Wisconsin, which is prime location. And then we also have some of those fun little local coffee shops that are within walking distance of our campus, some of our favorites being Miss Molly's Cafe and Collectivo. And then of course there are some other local restaurants within the area. And we're also very close to the Menominee River Parkway, where actually one side of our campus is located on this parkway, and it's 8 miles of paved trails, and they are just these large, gorgeous trails where everybody from the community has access to them. We're also fairly close to the Oak Leaf Trail, which is a large trail that expands throughout the entire Milwaukee County, so you can really explore and get out there and make it feel like you're not totally in a city, but have a lot of that outdoor space. So Olivia, you mentioned that you aren't from Milwaukee and you kind of moved to this area to go to Mount Mary because you saw a lot of potential in moving here. So what do you like to do for fun in the Milwaukee and Wauwatosa area?
I absolutely love using the parkway, the paved 8 miles. I love going for runs or just walks with friends. I think getting outside is great, and I'm really glad that we, like you said, have more residential feel than a big city. I also really like to do a little shopping. So in the village of Wauwatosa, there's a couple of cute boutiques. So in my free time, I'll go and spend time there. There's this great bookstore. I'm a huge book nerd, so I always pick up a latest bestseller and start to read.
I know exactly what bookstore you're talking about. Very
Isn't
cute.
It just adorable?
It's very adorable.
I love it.
So a little bit more about Mount Mary's academics as well. We have about 30 different academic programs, and we make it very easy for our students to double major or minor in several different areas, and we can chat more with Olivia about that. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a fairly small undergraduate population, so our average class size will be about 15 students per class. We don't have any lecture halls on campus, so our largest class can only seat 32 students. So that really affords our students the opportunity to get to know their peers as well as their faculty members. In addition, our faculty will also be our students' academic advisors. So again, they really get to make that connection both inside and outside of the classroom with their faculty. And when talking to our faculty at Mount Mary, the number one thing that they are so proud of, you can speak to anyone from any department and they will always say that they have a story and a connection with every single one of their students that if needed or asked, they could write just a stellar letter of recommendation for all of their students because they have that time and that opportunity to make those connections. So that's something that's really beneficial of attending a smaller university is that you get to make those connections with your faculty. In addition, Mount Mary has been very creative, particularly now with different active classroom environments where we have a combination of in-person classes, hybrid, where students will rotate between in-person and online, and then fully online options as well. And we'll continue to offer these more active classroom environments even after the pandemic and as we move forward from here. But we've certainly gotten creative and our faculty have played a huge role in making this a really beneficial experience for all students, regardless of how we've come back this fall semester. Within our classroom, we also focus a lot on discussion. So right from the start in some of those larger classes that all of our first year students will be taking, there's a big emphasis on discussion and hearing from not only your faculty, but also your fellow students and everyone participating and giving their perspective on a subject. Mount Mary is also a fairly diverse campus community, so having those diverse perspectives really brings a different dynamic to the classroom where students from all different backgrounds and experiences and cultures can learn from each other. Again, kind of not just learning from your faculty, but learning from everybody in the room with you. In the classroom, our faculty members also focus on these areas. There's a huge emphasis on being creative and bold problem solvers. So during your first semester at Mount Mary, you'll actually take a course called Leadership for Social Justice. And within this course, you will be taught a more creative approach to problem solving. Mount Mary students will take this their first semester because it's really going to be the foundation and building block for you as you continue your education at Mount Mary and how we want you to approach different problems or issues that you're presented with. We want our students to graduate Mount Mary and feel like they can make those bold decisions and be creative and step outside of the box when making decisions. We also want students to have really strong persuasive communication skills. We want students to be able to collaborate together and work together because that's a huge thing that employers are looking for. And going back to what Olivia said previously is that being in an all-women's environment and being kind of a smaller university, you have a lot of opportunities to take on more collaborative teamwork and feel like your voice is valued. We also want our students to be adaptable and flexible. This is, again, another thing that employers are looking for, is for students to be able to look at a situation and react to it quickly and accordingly. And we also want students to just be, again, well-rounded, mature individuals, not just academics, but individuals as a whole when they leave Mount Mary. So Olivia, could you kind of take us through what a typical class day looks like for you? How many classes are you taking? What hours are they between? What's your largest class versus your smallest class? And then what are you involved in outside of the classroom? That was a lot of things to answer at once, so.
Not a problem. So this semester I'm taking 6 classes, but 4 of them are online and 2 of them are in person. So I can have anywhere between 2 to 3 classes a day. Only Monday through Thursday. I don't have any classes on Friday, which I love. They meet twice a week. I actually have one online class that we never meet. We just do like discussion boards, and that's our classroom. Average class size, I've had classes as small as 3 people and as large as 25. So it really depends, but this year it's around 15 to 18 students. How involved am I? So I work on campus. I'm in the Admissions Welcome Center as a student ambassador. So if you come to Mount Mary, I'll be sitting in there and I can give you a tour. I can answer any questions. I can give Bree a call and she can come down and you can meet with her. I am involved in service learning. So there's a couple sites around the Milwaukee area that I go to. Pre-COVID, I'd go to weekly, but right now it's all via online. So we'll Zoom or they'll send me assignments to work on that way. Did I get all of those? Did I miss one?
I think you got them all. I do have a question though for you that's not on here. How has your classroom day or just all of those experiences kind of changed for you this semester? How have things been different for you?
So our campus has done a great job of making everything CDC guideline followed. We are all 6 feet apart. We all wear masks. There's hand sanitizer everywhere you go. We sanitize the desks. So that part is really great because it makes me want to go to class. Like I miss that in person because as I said, we're a small community. That's how we build those relationships, is seeing each other face to face and being able to talk and collaborate. And while Zoom is great, there is that emotional connection that is missing. So I do like going to class. It has been a transition, definitely, but our teachers are still very animated. They're just thinking outside of the box. So maybe we'll still do presentations, but we'll do it where like you meet up via the internet and you work on your presentation that way. So it's still socially distanced and it's still safe, but we still get that level of collaboration.
Awesome. I was just talking to one of our faculty members and she is definitely missing being in the classroom, but she's been very creative with bringing kind of her energy into the online realm. So that's great to hear that you're also experiencing that. So in addition to your academics, you know, what you learn inside the classroom and all of those different takeaways that Mount Mary wants you to graduate with, it's also super important to us that you have these other experiences throughout your time at Mount Mary. And as, again, a small community, you really get to work with your faculty and different staff members on campus to look for internship opportunities and get connected with some, you know, great partners that we have across the city of Milwaukee and just the southeastern Wisconsin region in general. We also have a pretty robust study abroad program with about 22% of our students studying abroad at some point, and we'll talk to Olivia about that as she did that last fall. We also have, for our nursing students, a lot of different clinical rotations that they can go through. Again, being in the Milwaukee and southeastern Wisconsin region, we just have a lot of opportunities for healthcare and being able to get our students those hands-on experiences, as well as student teaching positions for our education department. Being in the most populous city in the state of Wisconsin, we have kind of our pick of different schools and school types and all of these you know, different things that our students get to experience. And then we also offer our students part-time jobs, which feels kind of funny to say, but our Fashion Fellowship program is a new program that we have started last fall, actually, with different partners across the city of Milwaukee and southeastern Wisconsin region, where our fashion students actually get the opportunity to pick up these part-time jobs within the industry and get some hands-on experience in different places that they may not have thought of before. So one, you know, really big industry in Milwaukee is bridal boutiques. So we have quite a few partnerships across the city with different bridal boutiques that need part-time student workers to come in and, you know, help brides shop for dresses and kind of do more of the administrative side of fashion as well as styling, and help our students get that hands-on experience right away while also getting paid. So certainly our faculty and staff are very creative when approaching different ways that our students can get that hands-on academic experience outside of the classroom. Now, Olivia, have you had any sort of internship or service learning or anything really related to kind of that hands-on professional experience?
Absolutely. So last spring, I had an internship with a nonprofit called Global Partners Running Water. So it's all about bringing fresh water to rural communities in Guatemala. So I got to do a lot of administrative work with that and a lot of translation of testimonials, which was a great experience and I loved it.
That sounds incredible. And that's a pretty big partner that we have with Mount Mary.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's actually founded through the School Sisters of Notre Dame.
Incredible ladies.
They really are.
And this is actually a picture of you.
It is. It is.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your study abroad program that you went on?
Absolutely. So this is a picture of me at Lake Umantai It's about 13,000 feet above sea level in Cusco, Peru. So last August in 2019, I flew to Cusco and I stayed there for 4 months and I studied abroad. I studied literature, culture, and language in Spanish. I had all my classes in Spanish. It was amazing. I had a homestay, so I stayed with a Peruvian family. Esperanza and Rafael were my parents, and I still talk to them weekly. They are just the sweetest couple. I made friends from all across the US that I still talk to. I was able to travel to Machu Picchu twice, not just once, but twice. I climbed to 17,000 feet. I swam in the world's highest lake. And then I also was able to do service learning there. So I was able to help out an after-school program for at-risk students. So I really got a well-rounded experience, and I would go back in a heartbeat.
That's awesome. So as I mentioned before, we have about 22% of our students study abroad, and I think that's in large part to, our director and the whole office just makes it very easy for students to study abroad. So what was that experience like applying for?
So Nan Metzger is our director, and she's the sweetest woman in the world. If you want to study abroad, she's going to make it happen. If you think you can't afford it, she's going to help you find scholarships and help you apply for them so it's affordable. So I really had no idea how to apply for studying abroad or how the credits were going to transfer. So I went and I talked to Nan, and she made the process simpler than I thought it could be. She helped me create an Excel sheet so I could go step by step, and then I could check it off when it was done. And so that made it really easy just to be able to go down the line and be like, all right, this is taken care of, this is next. And then before I knew it, I bought my ticket, and then a month later I was on a plane, and I was like, oh my goodness.
That is awesome. And Nan is just so passionate about what she does that she's like, if you want to study abroad, we're going to make this happen for you.
Absolutely. She's the person for you.
Yeah. So we have your picture on here again. Love it. So a little bit more about student life at Mount Mary. We do have about 35 different student clubs and organizations. And as we mentioned, we have a lot of our students going abroad at some point because that process, we make it kind of involved with our students. And then we also do have residence life for our students who live on campus, and we have that additional programming. So when the school day ends, we still have activities for students to take part in on campus. Here is a list of some of our current student clubs and organizations, and they really do span a lot of different topics, interest areas. We have honor societies, as well as a lot of cultural-based programming. One of our student clubs and orgs that I like to point out is Arches, which is our student newspaper, and they are constantly putting in work to create a weekly and updated digital student newspaper online, but then they also come out with a magazine every semester, and they put in so many hours and so much work to make this happen, and they're constantly winning awards for it. It's such a cool student club that really anyone can get involved with, and not just our journalism students. If there isn't anything though that we currently offer that you're like, okay, why don't we have a poetry club? You just need to get yourself and a couple friends together to create your own student club and organization, because it is truly student led and run. In addition, we're also an NCAA Division III school with our current sports listed at the bottom there. So great way to, get involved and stay active during your time at Mount Mary. Maybe not being as competitive as Division I, but still being able to travel across the Midwest and travel across the country and get that experience of being a student athlete. Now, Olivia, we kind of talked a little bit about what you like to do in the city. What do you like to do on campus? What are some of your favorite activities?
Well, I absolutely love bingo. We hold it once a month. I wish it was once a week. I love it. I'm totally ready for my retired life where I get to play bingo every day and walk my dog and have no responsibilities. So I think that's a great engagement, and we've even been able to move it online with COVID, which is pretty cool. Now we do virtual bingo, and you still win awesome prizes. I'm also part of International Club, So that's really cool because normally we'd have international students each semester, and so they can present on their country. They'll bring different food, they'll bring different traditions, and we'll celebrate different celebrations. So that's really cool because you get a little sneak peek or like an inside peek into what their life is about and their lifestyle and how they're still celebrating it here in the US. I'm also part of Hispanic Professionals of Greater Milwaukee. So that's an organization that really works to connect college students with businesses. So it's all about networking and how you can improve yourself and how you can get ready for the real world after you graduate college. And then we have a great student engagement board. They're always doing something new. And even with COVID, they're going above and beyond what I thought was possible. They're doing Kahoot via Zoom. They're doing socially distant, like evenings. They've done a couple movies so far. We've got this big gym. So you'll come and like you sit on an X and you bring a blanket and they have snacks provided. So they're really trying to still keep us involved, keep us in a community, which I love.
That's great. And for the bingo, I think that is everyone's favorite activity on campus. They've done it a couple times at staff meetings, and I get it. I totally get it.
Yes, it is just the best.
It gets very competitive, and there are some high prizes out there. Lots of Starbucks and Target gift cards.
And I mean, for a college student and even for adults, that's gold. Like,
absolutely. Absolutely. It's good stuff. So let's talk a little bit more about the value of a Mount Mary education and kind of what sets Mount Mary apart from other schools. So U.S. News and World 2020 Best Colleges report came out, and Mount Mary was among some of the highest ethnic diversity index rated in the Midwest. I believe we were tied number one for with another school in Illinois. So we are very proud of our ethnic diversity. Again, just focusing on what those different perspectives can bring to our campus community and classroom. In addition, we were the number one private institution in Wisconsin in the category of social mobility. So what that means is students who were Pell Grant eligible, their percentage of coming to Mount Mary and persisting through graduation. So we're also very proud to be the number one private institution in the whole state in that category, because that means that what we're doing is working, that our students are persisting all the way to graduation. So those are just a couple of things that set Mount Mary apart. In addition, though, is some of our generous scholarships and grants and awards. So in terms of the financial aid process, the first step is to get accepted to Mount Mary University and then to file the FAFSA. I put our school code there, and I highly recommend using Mount Mary school code. There are a lot of different Mount Marys out there. So to make sure you're sending it to the one in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I would recommend using that school code. For this year, our goal, the FAFSA opened up on October 1st. Our goal is to get award offers out by the beginning of November. So we're hoping to let you know right away what your estimated cost of attending Mount Mary is, because we don't want to keep you waiting around for several months to get that information. We want to get that out to you because the financial aid is a huge part of the college decision-making process. So we want to get you that information early. In addition to filing the FAFSA, though, 100% of Mount Mary students, regardless of if you file the FAFSA or not, will receive one of these academic scholarships ranging between $11,000 to $18,000 per year. And we do base this on your high school GPA and your ACT or SAT if you submit one. If you do not submit a test score with your application, we'll just use a different GPA marker for the scholarships here. So you'll know at time of acceptance what scholarship you're receiving for the next 4 years. You'll continue to receive this scholarship as long as you remain a full-time student at Mount Mary. If you dip below 12 credits per semester, that's the only time that the scholarship may be taken away. Otherwise, you don't have to reapply for it or renew it. This is just automatically given to you. And again, just to reiterate, you do not have to file the FAFSA in order to receive the scholarship amount. So every single student who is accepted to Mount Mary will receive one of these scholarships. We also offer some additional scholarship opportunities, one being the Caroline Scholars Program, which Olivia is actually a Caroline Scholar, so we can chat with her a little bit more about that. But this scholarship covers 100% of tuition and room and board for 6 incoming students every year. So we are looking for students who have a cumulative unweighted GPA of 3.5 or higher, as well as a passion for social justice. With the application process, we'll have you write some essays for us, provide some letters of recommendation, and we really want you to highlight any service work or volunteer work that you've done that highlights that passion for social justice. We also offer the Compass Year program scholarship for $1,000 each year, and this is for students who enroll as undecided in their major. I was personally a big advocate for this scholarship because I was undecided when I was going into college, and it felt like every single scholarship was asking me, what do you want to do with your major, or what is your career path? And I was like, I have no idea, I'm undecided. So we want to, celebrate those students who are undecided and who are still looking at all of their options, and still reward them because they are still, great students who we want to encourage them to continue on. And then we offer the trustee award for $500 each year. And this is for filing the FAFSA prior to our priority deadline of December 1st. So it feels like kind of easy money right there to get that additional $500. There are some additional Mount Mary grants and scholarships that we will review students for once we receive the FAFSA. And as your admission counselor, we would just review your financial aid offer together so that you understand where this money is coming from, where it's being awarded from, and what it's going towards. And Olivia, do you want to touch at all on the Caroline Scholars Program? I don't have a specific question in here for you, but.
No, it's all good. So I am a Caroline. I'm a senior. So for the past 3 years, I've completed 300 hours of social justice service. And this year it's a little different because of COVID, but we're still working towards a goal of hours. And I really love it. So you're in a cohort. So there's me and 5 other students who are seniors, and we've really bonded over these past 4 years. We like to say that no one understands a Caroline like a Caroline, just because we are a close-knit community. And we really bond over the experience we have. We do retreats, we do reflections, so we can just learn more about this process of social justice and how to make our community more equitable, more equal for everyone. I highly recommend that you apply for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing I didn't mention about Caroline that I should have is that we don't need a FAFSA in order to award students the Caroline Scholars Program. So really the only eligibility requirement we're looking for is that 3.5 GPA. We'll invite you to apply for the scholarship if you have that GPA, and we have some additional application requirements specifically for that scholarship, but filing the FAFSA is not one of them, which I think is important to point out. So moving on then to the admission process, if everything you heard this evening sounds like Mount Mary might be a good fit for you, we highly recommend that you start the application. We are on the Common App, so you can certainly add us on there, but we also have Mount Mary's own institutional online application, and it is very simple to complete, typically takes students about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's also free to submit, so we will not ask for an application fee. In addition, we will just need your high school transcripts, and we only need grades 9th through 11th to make an admission decision. We don't need to see any of your senior year grades quite yet. And then we'll ask for your test scores, so either ACT or SAT. Now, one new thing about Mount Mary's application is that we are asking right on the online app if you will be submitting a test score along with your application for an admission decision. So you can let us know right away if you will or will not be submitting a test score. And you can always change your mind at any point. So if on the application you say that you will not be submitting a test score, you can always come back, email me, or reach out in any way and say that you will be submitting a test score. But just so you are aware, it is optional. Those are just the 3 items we need to make an admission decision. And it typically takes us about 1 to 2 weeks to make a decision. For some students, we may ask for some additional application materials, but we'll reach out to you directly and let you know what else we need from there. In addition, every Friday at Mount Mary is instant decision day. So if you apply the day before or the week of, you can come to campus. We'll take you on a campus tour. And all you have to bring is your transcripts and your test scores if you're providing them. And while you're on your campus tour, I will review your application for an admission decision and give you a spot the day of. Now, while we are open for in-person visits, I know not everyone would like to come to campus right now. So we are also offering these virtually. So if you apply beforehand and if you email me a copy of your transcripts, I can review it on the spot and we can have a Zoom meeting and discuss your admission decision. So like I mentioned, Mount Mary is open right now for visits. So we do offer individual visits Monday through Friday. We do require that guests fill out a health screening report, take their temperature before coming to campus, and also wear a mask throughout the duration of their time on campus. But we are offering those individual visits. And we also offer some Saturday visits on select weekends throughout the semester, and those will take place from 10 a.m. to noon. Those are group visits, but we do every effort to have us in a much larger space so that we can socially distance and also have several tour guides on hand so that we can have hopefully one group per one tour guide to again keep with social distance. In addition, admission counselors are offering virtual appointments. So if you'd like to meet with me and chat more about Mount Mary, we can set that up as well. And we also have several different virtual tour options, both on YouTube and on our website. So if you'd like to check out campus from the comfort of your own home, you can just head over to Mount Mary's YouTube page to check that out. All right, so that brings us to the end of our formal presentation. We do have a couple minutes left if there are any questions. Otherwise, this is my contact information listed on the screen if you'd like to jot that down. Olivia, do you have any just kind of like final words or advice for students looking for their college?
I'd say that even if you're hesitant, apply to Mount Mary. As Bree said, the application's free. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. I remember when I filled it out way back when, it was super simple, and I heard back from them, and I think they were one of the first universities. So that's made me feel really good because I was like, oh, I got one thing done. I've been accepted, and that just helped me make more decisions faster and easier. And also, we have a great campus. We have amazing students. We have great professors. Why not come?
Well said. Thank you so much for your wisdom and for joining us this evening. I don't see anything in the Q&A, so I think we can wrap up a few minutes early for this evening.
There we go. No problem. Well, definitely thank you guys for joining us today. When you close the window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at IACAC.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other session recordings at IACAC.org. Thank you so much. Thank you, presenters, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Have a great night, Bree.
You too.